As you may know, or maybe you don't know, if you know, well, now you know, I'm a kind of a fan of professional wrestling. I stopped watching professional wrestling, like, just the current stuff, like last year after WrestleMania 40. I haven't watched any Royal Rumbles. I haven't watched any Survivor Series. I haven't watched any WrestleManias after that. I haven't seen WrestleMania 41 because I don't care to watch it. No, I do not. But also, I have to mention that the video is clickbait. Yes, it's clickbait. I just want you to know something. While I'm not a fan of the Triple H era, I just thought it would be a funny idea to make the video in the thumbnail of this stuff. Because I already kind of had the idea and all that good stuff. But I just wanted to kind of talk about professional wrestling. I was in a conversation with somebody on Reddit about the current state of wrestling, about the effects of the Yes movement about 11, 12 so years ago. About 11 years ago, around, actually about 11 and a half years ago, which is, yeah, surprisingly a long time ago. Somebody was saying that the Yes movement was pretty much the worst thing to happen to WWE. Actually, let me just look at that really quick. Just look at the original comment, and I will tell you what happens, and I will give my 2 cents on it. Well, more of my 2 cents. So, the original comment says, hot take, the Yes movement was the worst thing to happen to pro wrestling. And someone else replies, please explain why. So I reply with, it was the most notable moment where the neckbeards got what they wanted and WWE started heading into what we have now. Smaller guys with less personality and charisma that are also, with less personality and charisma that are also way more injury prone because they're so focused on the work rate. No larger than life characters, no elements of relatability, nothing to care about aside from themes that you can chant to as well as lame catchphrases. You can blame this on CM Punk as well if you want to for his pipe brown promo. So then the second person says, you speak as if work rate is a bad thing. My favorite wrestlers wrestle intense matches. Those sons of bitches. Also, just FYI, you're on Reddit, so you are also part of the neckbeard community. Another thing is that you say smaller guys with less personality, yet Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, AJ Styles, Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes. You kind of lost me at Jon Moxley. Actually, you lost me at friggin' Seth Rollins. You kind of got me back with Roman Reigns and AJ Styles, but then you lost me again with Bryan Danielson, but you really just completely lost me with Sami Zayn and Jon Moxley, but alright. But they say that all of these are 1,000 times better than the big guys and all have great wrestling personalities. So I said, work rate isn't as bad when it's an add-on, not the main focus. Also, I'm not a neckbeard considering I use Reddit pretty casually and that I've stopped watching WWE because of the lack of interesting content it produces. You can think whatever you want about the newer guys' personalities versus the older guys, but there's a very good reason why Austin and Rock draw more currently than Sammy and Cody. Meaning, if Austin and The Rock were to come by, they would draw more people than come down today. They would draw more people. But they said, didn't WWE have their highest grossing year of all time with Cody at the top? So he did and does outdraw Rock and Austin. This is no shade to The Rock or Austin, as they are both great. Also, the sport is called professional wrestling, not professional promo, so work rate should be the main focus. So then I reply with, viewership says otherwise, considering Raw is drawing under 3 million people worldwide throughout the course of a week, and SmackDown is drawing just above 1 million people. WWE only makes the amount of money it does because of ads and overpricing tickets and merchandise. And then I added something at the end and said, also, it's also referred to as sports entertainment because it's not a real sport, so the entertainment should be the focus. And that's just where it's been left at now. So if they reply, I may make a response video to that. But this isn't me dissing this person or anything like that. But all I'm saying is people with this mindset, especially that last point where they're like, oh, well, the WWE makes the most amount of money it's ever had. Yeah, until you check to see that you just check one episode of Raw and it's like 5 matches in 3 hours and everything in between that is ads. The matches are ads. The entrances are ads. In fact, after this video, I'm going to watch Raw. I'm going to go on Netflix. I'm going to go onto my Netflix account and I'm going to watch Raw. Let me actually load up Netflix right now, as you can see right there. So, I'm going to go ahead and put on some Raw. Wait for it to load up still. I'm going to wait for... Okay, I'm going to get it now. See? I'm going to find Monday Night Raw. And I'm going to watch the most recent episode. Because, yes, the issue is you can make as much money as you want, but you're not drawing the amount of people. You can charge... Take it for example. I was actually thinking about this. The reason why double albums... I was thinking about this. Double albums. Why some people say, you know, like, a double album sells, like, half of it. You know, like, take, for example, All Eyes on Me by Tupac. People say that Tupac sold actually, like, 5 million records. But the thing is, not only are you getting twice the product, it's not saying that, you know, 10 million people bought it. It says there's 10 million sales, 10 million albums sold. So when it's a double album, it's 2 albums sold as one. So you're doubling the price, meaning you're doubling the sale. So one person can buy 2 albums. Okay? 2 people cannot buy the exact same album, like, to make it count as a sale. I mean, sure, you could, like, refund it, and then, you know, somebody else buys it, but then that's just counted as, you know, a singular sale, because you have a sale, and then you have that sale removed, and then you sell it again. But what WWE does is that they don't say that they sold, you know, like, let's just say WrestleMania. Like, WrestleMania is 2 nights. They sell 2 tickets for 2 separate nights, and then they combine the attendance, and then they say that's the actual attendance. Imagine you buy 2 tickets to an event, right? You buy it, you go to both nights, you're one person, so the attendance rate is still the same. If one person shows up for one night, and then they show up again for the second night, the attendance rate should still be 1. You see what I mean? But no, they're counting it as 2 people, even though you're the same person. That's kind of the issue. Now, as I said, if they said tickets sold, that would be honest. But they're saying people arrived there. That is the attendance rating. That's what they're saying. And it's... Yeah, no, that's not the thing. That's not the good thing that it should be. Because, like, seriously though, it's kind of stupid to count 2. It's kind of stupid to count one person as 2 people because they showed up to the same event twice. It's like, no. It's like, just on the topic of Tupac. Tupac has 2 artist profiles on Apple Music. He has Machiavelli and he has Tupac. I'm not gonna say that Tupac. Let's just say Tupac has 50 million monthly listeners and Machiavelli has 25 monthly listeners. I'm not gonna say Tupac has 75 monthly listeners because you're combining them, because it's granted that most people are going to listen to both Tupac and Machiavelli. I don't know a single person that listens to Machiavelli without listening to Tupac. Now, there's going to be people that listen to Tupac without listening to Machiavelli, but I'm guaranteed 0% of the population listens to Machiavelli without listening to Tupac. So, I mean, seriously though. Okay, I won't say 0, but a very small percentage is what I'll say. A very small percentage of that people. Like, it's probably like not even 5%. It's probably like 1% of those people. So yeah. But anyways, WWE has to inflate everything. They have to inflate their numbers. They have to inflate the prices. They have to inflate the ads. But then they deflate the amount of matches. But then they inflate the time the matches go. And what do you have? Wrestlers with no TV time. wrestlers that don't get the match. You know, they don't get to be on pay per view. They're just borderline jobbers. You don't build them up. Granted, like as I said, I'm not one of those people that are like, oh, you need to push the new guy. It's like whoever entertains. But then the thing is, the most entertaining people are barely entertaining, and then the people that actually are entertaining, like LA Knight, he's not getting booked right. Like, dude, you have this guy right here. Granted, LA Knight is like 42. He's exactly twice my age because he was born like, my 21st birthday was his 42nd birthday. Yes, I'm gonna drop that funny fact of knowledge that I share a birthday with LA Knight. Yeah. So yeah. But you have Jey Uso. Now, granted, Jey Uso was not going to be anything. Well, I won't say nothing special. But Jey Uso isn't going to be the star that they wanted him to be. Like, yeah, they had him win the Royal Rumble. They had him win the title. They had him hold the title for a little bit. Which is great. It's great for what it is. A mid-carder finally becomes the main eventer. He wins the Royal Rumble. He has the title reign for a little bit, And then he drops it right back to Gunther. Granted, I don't really want Gunther to be champion. And I'm glad he's not champion. Seth Rollins is champion. And while Seth Rollins is not a complete zero, he is annoying. And I think that's arguably worse than boring. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'd rather be bored or annoyed by somebody. I really don't know. But all I'm saying is, even like the main eventers that they try to push as main eventers to be big stars are barely there. Where's Roman Reigns? He's filming for Street Fighter now. Where's Cody Rhodes? Cody Rhodes is filming for Street Fighter now. Granted, Cody Rhodes did just recently have a match at, what was it? WrestlePalooza, which is also another thing. I hear that Triple H opens up WrestlePalooza is like, if this is your first time watching this. And all I'm thinking is, nobody in the history of mankind, nobody on this earth is going to buy ESPN Plus and look at a show called WrestlePalooza and think, hey, this sounds interesting. This sounds like it's worth my time. Because I know I did it with a name like WrestlePalooza. Really? Alright, bro. Alright, dude. But anyways, kind of the whole fundamentals of this thing. So yeah, wrestlers getting injured being like, oh, the longer the matches, like the longer you go and do something, like especially like physical activity, of course you're going to increase the likability of you getting injured. I mean, CM Punk got injured. He got injured like within 6 months, I think, of his return. It's like, I'm not hoping that he gets injured or anything like that, but I just find it very comical. So yeah, but the amount of gaslighting as well, because like to portray CM Punk as a tough guy, then you have to look back like 10 years ago where CM Punk was getting his ass whooped on UFC. Yeah, that's embarrassing. Now, granted, yes, CM Punk is at least brave. He was either very brave or very stupid. Now, I will say this: bravery typically goes into when you succeed. You are very brave to do something if you succeeded, but it's kind of portrayed as stupidity if you fail at it, which is what happened. He went into UFC and he got his ass whooped, and it's no shame in getting your ass whooped, and especially multiple times, but it's like it's embarrassing when you get your ass whooped and now you try to portray yourself as a tough guy. It's like, dude, I saw you lose to like four welterweights. It's like, dude, all right. Then you have Seth Rollins, with his annoying voice. AJ Lee is back, and I'm not necessarily impressed. Now, granted, I liked AJ Lee when she came back, but AJ Lee was kind of irrelevant from my memory. Like, she was the Divas champion, and I can't name any. I mean, I can name like 3 Divas champions from when I was watching as a kid, back from like 2013, 2014 to like 2017. Like, I can name like Charlotte, I can name Nikki Bella, and AJ Lee. I think Paige held it at one point as well, so I guess you can say Paige. But yeah, so now you have to ask yourself, not exactly. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. I also forgot to mention, if WWE was doing so good, Why are networks changing? Why do WWE have to constantly come up with these partnerships just to stay afloat? Just think about it. Just look at it about 5 years ago. Just 5 years ago. When Vince McMahon was still reigning. Let's see. SmackDown was on Fox. Raw was on USA. NXT also on USA. Their WWE network was still up. So see, things seem to be doing definitely lower than it had been like 10 years before. So I'll give that. But then you move on, like let's just say 2 years later, and Netflix, I think Raw was no pay-per-views are on Peacock. Raw is going to get moved to Netflix in 2025, I think, or was it 24? I think it was 25, right? I'm pretty sure it was 25. Yeah, it was 25. So yeah, and SmackDown is still on Fox. Then 2025 comes, and what do you have? Raw on Netflix. Now, granted, I'm not gonna say Raw on Netflix is a bad move. Of course it's not. I mean, seriously, you're getting even more exposure to people because people all over the world have Netflix. So you're being able to, it's easier to access Raw now. And then you realize, like in the 90s, Stone Cold and The Rock were drawing like what? 5 to 8 million, I think. I think they were drawing like 8 million. John Cena was drawing like 5 million. And what do we have now? And mind you, this was in the US while it was live. In the US while it was live. Monday nights. Do you know how unremarkable Monday nights are? Just think about that. In fact, I'm going to look up just a random Raw episode from let's just say 2000. So I'm going to look that up real quick, and I'm going to tell you the results. All right, so I couldn't find the information that I wanted to, but I found some information. And throughout the year of 2000, they were consistently drawing about 6 to 7 million. Yeah, 6 to 7 million. About 6.5 to 7 million people weekly. So do you know how insane that is to drop from that? Eventually just a gradual fall from grace, because I'm guaranteed it would happen, because obviously you're not gonna I will say this, a lot of the time whenever you reach that peak, the only way to go is down. That's kind of it. The only way you're going is down. So while it's understandable, I wish it wasn't in the way that we had it today, because like you have people like CM Punk who come in, who get overhyped up because they're from the indies. Then you get the people like Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan was fine. I liked him as a kid because of the whole yes, yes, yes thing, but I never really watched his matches, if I'm being honest with you. Daniel Bryan, what happens to Daniel Bryan after the fans get what they want? He wins the world titles in the most unbelievable way ever. He beats Triple H in a match while he's injured. No, he beats Triple H in a match, and then he gets injured, kayfabe wise, and then he main events that same WrestleMania and beats both Randy Orton and Batista by having Batista tap out. You want to know how that title reign ended? It ended in less than a month because he got injured. Yeah, he relinquished the title because he got injured, and he stayed. He stayed MIA for the rest of the year. He came back in time for the Royal Rumble, and while he didn't win that, he went on to get into main WrestleMania and win the Intercontinental title. You want to know how his Intercontinental title run ended up? Relinquishing, because he was injured and he retired. Since then, we've had an influx of superstars that are bland, that are inferior in size. Like, yes, you had absolute monsters like Brock Lesnar and Kane and The Big Show, but you also had guys that were just generally bigger that didn't look like they were giants because they were around each other. As opposed to, you put Stone Cold next to Cody Rhodes and he looks like a freaking twink. Seriously. That's the WWE champion. Now, this is no offense to Cody Rhodes, because I will admit, I kind of like Cody Rhodes. Now, granted, I don't like Cody Rhodes now. I like Stardust. Stardust was always my thing as a kid. And I get that he hated it. I don't blame him. I would probably hate it. But then again, hey, maybe I would have loved it if I was given the role. But yeah, I get it. You hate what you're doing. You want to leave. That's cool. But then Cody Rhodes became, what did he become? Blonde hair, neck tattoo, wearing neutral colored suits, saying, "What do you want to talk about?" And while he's not doing it anymore, it annoyed me how much every time this nigga would talk about his dad, and it's just like, dude. Another thing that kind of annoys me as well is the Cody Raheem Rhodes jokes. Like, I get where they come from, but it's like that doesn't make them any less annoying. Because people act like Cody Rhodes is black. And yeah, as I said, I'm not acting like the fun police or anything like that. It just kind of annoys me. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, wrestling now is inferior. Factually inferior. The superstars are smaller. The superstars are, less charismatic, and they have no personality. And it kind of annoys me how so many of the people out there, so many are like, hey, this guy, he's a good in-ring talent and he's good at promos. Push him. But then once they get pushed, it's like, what happened? It's because they don't have personality. I can talk to you. No matter how whatever words I speak, doesn't matter. And I gotta sit here and let my brain process the words that want to come out of my mouth because my mouth be talking too much. But I can show some personality. A lot of the time I don't because I'm kind of nervous. I'm looking at myself in the mirror. I probably shouldn't be looking at myself in the mirror. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna be a baller. Okay, my video cut for some reason, but all right. Anyways, the last thing I was saying, because I don't know if you heard it, but Triple H, yeah, somebody was saying that pretty much Triple H's creative decisions don't affect the business. Yes, they do. They 100% affect the business. Now, they might not affect all of the business, but everything you do in creative affects the business somehow. Affects the money that you make. If you're putting out doo-doo butter, you're going to sell doo-doo butter. And granted, there's going to be some people out there that are going to watch this doo-doo butter because it's WWE doo-doo butter. They love WWE. They'll blindly love WWE. And that's completely fine. If you like shit, you're going to eat shit. And I'm sorry to say that. But that's just kind of how it is. So, I'm not watching this. I mean, I'll watch the episode of Raw like I said I will. And I will give you my opinions on it afterwards. So, expect the video tomorrow. Have a blessed day. Jesus loves you. Goodbye.